Hello everyone, Ryan here. So it's time for my review of The Revenant by Michael Punke. Now I also wanted to review the movie as well. So first I'll start by reviewing the book and then just kind of talk about how it compares to the movie. Stuff like what's in the book that isn't in the movie, what's in the movie that isn't in the book. So first off, I wanted to say I really like the book. Even though I saw the movie first in theaters back when it came out, I believe it was sometime in January of this year. But it was because I liked the movie so much, that's what prompted me to go out, get a copy of the book, and read it as soon as possible. Though granted, it took me a while to actually get to sitting down and reading it. But once I did, I was actually pretty engrossed by the story. I was intrigued by the characters, especially the main character, Hugh Glass. Of course, in the book, I like that there's a lot more details as far as Hugh Glass's origin story is concerned. And I guess this might be kind of a spoiler, so I'm sorry this review might have some spoilers, but especially if you haven't read the book, if you haven't seen the movie, there will be some kind of spoilers. But if you've seen the movie or read the book, or both, then I would say the spoilers wouldn't really matter that much. I mean, I think. So it turns out that Hugh Glass was at one point in his life was actually a pirate. I guess you could say maybe not the typical kind of pirate that we're used to from like Pirates of the Caribbean type stuff, but yeah, he spent some time at sea, which for me would definitely explains why he was had that really tough kind of exterior and interior as well, but which is something that isn't explained in the movie, obviously. But I really liked reading about that part of his origin story. In fact, I wanted to, I wish there was some kind of prequel or something that was just about Hugh Glass's time spent at sea, the time he spent living, working as a quote-unquote pirate. Just always, that aspect of the book seemed very interesting to me. Another thing I kind of didn't like that much, well, after the fact that, he does get mauled by that grizzly bear, which is also shown in the movie. Of course, obviously, I like that in the movie it's much more graphic. And in the book, not so much. I mean, though the author, he did his best at trying to capture in words this horrific mauling scene by a grizzly bear. But so anyways, after that part in the book, then Hugh Glass ends up encountering so many other things, so many other obstacles. One of them being he kind of fends off a snake, and then he fights some wolves because he goes for a long period without eating anything other than berries and plant roots, and so he stumbles upon this pack of wolves who are pretty much eating this fresh buffalo carcass, and so he fights these wolves, which is actually a pretty cool part of the book. I would say definitely, aside from the whole bear mauling thing, the part where he fights these wolves, it's actually a pretty cool part. In fact, I wish they had that in the movie, but I guess I definitely understand why it was left out of the movie, because it would have seemed like overkill, to have him be mauled by a grizzly bear, and then later on have to fight these wolves. And but yeah, I don't know. But in the book, as far as the book is concerned, it works. There's also a lot more details concerning other characters, such as that guy Fitzgerald, who is pretty much, the bad guy or villain, I guess. Although, as far as Fitzgerald is concerned, there's a lot more of his backstory as well. And at the same time, it kind of makes you, well, at least it made me want to know a lot more about him. And also kind of made me understand, where he was coming from, why he was being such an asshole, or why he felt it necessary to become an asshole and maintain that, I guess you would say, attitude, that maintain his entire outlook on life, because of the fact that, he had a really crappy upbringing. And so, how can I not make anybody an asshole or a bad person? So, but yeah, I really like that. And of course, I don't want to get into too many details as far as the book is concerned, but I will say that the ending in the book was not as dramatic, not as action-packed as the ending of the movie. So pretty much in this one, it's like, I guess maybe I'll just go ahead and say it. In the book, first off, Hugh Glass doesn't have a son. He doesn't have, a son who is half Indian, half Caucasian, or, whatever it is that they explained in the movie. So he doesn't have a son, but he still decides to take revenge on Fitzgerald and the other guy who left him to Bridger, who were put in charge of watching over him until he actually died from his wounds. Of course, they don't. They just abandon him, leave him there. They take his stuff, all his gear. But so in the book, because he doesn't have a son, it really didn't seem like that big of a reason for Hugh Glass to exact revenge on these two men. But I guess he had every right to be pissed off. He had every right to be pissed off at Fitzgerald and Bridger, the other guy, the two guys that just left him and took all his gear. That I get. Because I would be pissed off too if I were put in that position, or even some kind of similar position. So, but I feel as though that wasn't reason enough for him to exact revenge on these guys. Because there's a part in the book when he confronts the other guy first, Bridger, who's a considerably younger guy, and he really goes to town on him. He really punches him in the face, punches him in the stomach, kicks him a couple of times in the back, just repeatedly punches him in the head until blood is gushing everywhere, and then only then, when he comes really close to killing Bridger, that's when he stops and then just kind of realizes that hey, maybe I've gone too far here. Which I was actually glad that he did. Just reading that part in the book, I was thinking to myself, what the hell? He's actually gonna kill this guy with his bare hands. That may, I don't know, that may be kind of cool, kind of badass, but he really didn't have much of a reason to do it in the first place. So, So yeah, I mean, and then eventually when he catches up to Fitzgerald, he doesn't really do anything to him, or he attempts to. I will say that. I mean, I don't want to really spoil that part. He attempts to, and he comes really close to exacting his revenge on Fitzgerald. But ultimately, nothing happens. But then, so I mean, I don't know if the ending in the book is much more, I guess you could say, slightly much more true to life. But also at the same time, it's very anticlimactic. Yeah, I'll say that's an accurate word to describe it. Anticlimactic. So yeah, I mean, as far as the book is concerned, I still give it 5 out of 5 stars because, yeah, even though I don't agree with certain aspects of it, you know. So I mean, and as far as the movie is concerned, if you haven't seen the movie, I definitely recommend you watch the movie. If you're not up to reading the book, definitely watch the movie. And of course, in the movie, Hugh Glass does have this son of his. His son gets killed, and that is the main reason for him exacting revenge on Fitzgerald, which to me seems like a valid reason. Though personally, I don't really believe in the whole revenge thing, but I would say, you know, somebody kills your son. I mean, hey, that's, you know, that's not cool. That's at least some kind of reason to exact revenge on somebody. But again, not that I'm down with the whole revenge thing, but you know, at least in the movie, that seems to be somewhat of a valid reason, or if not a very valid reason, for Hugh Glass to exact revenge. And then, of course, in the movie, there's a lot of stuff left out. Although I like that the cinematography is really great, really flows well, really fluid. And then, of course, also too, I read about the fact that the director chose to use a lot of natural light, no artificial lights. So they used a lot of natural light just from the surrounding environment, and that also really adds to the overall ambience of each scene and each action sequence. So yeah, I definitely like that. The movie itself, I would say I would definitely give it 5 stars too. Definitely. Yeah, and then of course also Leonardo DiCaprio did an awesome job playing Hugh Glass. I mean, he won awards for it, so yeah, definitely well deserved. Yeah, again, I mean, for me, I think this is like one of those rare times when I actually kind of feel like both the book and the movie complement each other. Yeah, I also do, because the ending in the movie, it makes a lot more sense. It's much more action-packed. Definitely much more action-packed. The confrontation between Hugh Glass and Fitzgerald is much more, I guess you'd say, much more climactic as opposed to anticlimactic, like the ending in the book. So, yeah. I give both the movie and the book 5 stars. If you haven't read the book, I do recommend it, especially if you like historical stuff, historical fiction, or though supposedly, I don't know, this is based on the life of an actual guy named Hugh Glass, but a lot of details have been exaggerated. So I don't know what's been exaggerated and what hasn't. And the same thing with the movie. In the movie, they kind of exaggerated some details from the book, but then also, of course, left out other details and just replaced them with scenes that are kind of like dreamlike visual kind of scenes, and you know. But I guess, you know, they're allowed to do that. They buy the rights to the book and whatnot in order to make sure that they have artistic freedom. So, but yeah, again, I give both The Revenant by Michael Punke, the book, 5 stars, and The Revenant, the movie, 5 stars. I highly recommend both. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't believe there's any more I can say. So yeah, this is just the first of many other reviews I'll be doing in which I review both the book and movie adaptation. So yeah, let me know what you guys think if you read this, if you haven't, what you thought of the movie. And also if you have any recommendations for me as far as, books that have movie adaptations, I would definitely love to hear your suggestions. So yeah, definitely leave me a comment down below. And that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks to everybody who's currently subscribed. I definitely appreciate it. And until next time, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.